So, in the upcoming stealth game Thief, which is looking pretty awesome in my opinion, there is going to be a variety of enemies, of course, that you're going to be coming across during your playthrough. Now the first thing that comes to mind, as everybody expects, is guards. Specifically, the Baron Watch guards. Now these guards are going to range, there's going to be different types of them, different variants. And one thing that is for sure is that there are different hierarchies in terms of these guards. So firstly, I just wanted to go from the ground up. We first have lantern guards. These are the typical ones you see in every video game. They're going to be walking around the corners with the lanterns, so throwing a rock like I saw in one playthrough and making the guard move over to there whilst you slip by, or knock him out. Or you can straight up just take them down, because these guys look like they aren't that strong. They don't have any armor on, and they have small daggers that they can use offensively. So I'm pretty sure that in most situations you'll be able to deal with these guards. Another thing about these guards is that I'm thinking that they're probably going to be ones that are more likely to run from you and probably just call for other guards with the bigger weapons like the maces and the shields. Now the second one is more of the generic guard that you're going to see in the majority of the game, is just the sword guards, except these guys have these helmets on, so they have a little bit of armor, and the majority of the player models that I saw, they had mustaches and they look kind of older, so this could suggest that these are kind of veteran guards, they've been doing it for a while, and these are going to be the sorts that are going to stand their ground. These are the grunts, and these guys are not going to give up on a fight. Then we have the ones that are moving a little bit more away from close combat and to long range. The crossbow guards. Now to identify these guys, obviously we're going to see that they have this long, cool looking crossbow with a wooden make. Now they have very sharp arrows, as we can suggest, but I doubt this is going to be an instant kill. But a few shots of these and you're probably going to be dead. Now to identify them, they do have these quivers with all the arrows in them, and also these Indiana Jones style hats. So if you ever are in a situation where you're seeing a guard from behind, you'll be able to tell from his quiver that he has a crossbow. Now rising to the top of the hierarchy, we have the sergeants, or the leaders, that you could say. Now these guards are going to be ordering around the other guards, telling them where to go, where to patrol, and if they think they can hear you nearby, they'll tell them to check it out. One thing that I do think though, is that if you manage to take this guy out first, when the other guards see that their leader has been killed, they could almost go into a state of panic and worry, because their leader, who they look up to, is now dead, leaving them defenseless. Now, a guard that I saw with an unknown hierarchy, but he would seem to be the brute force, is he has a large shield and a mace. He also has a lot of armor on. This could suggest that these aren't actually guards, they could be reinforcements. So if you trip some sort of alarm, then they could call for these other guards that are really made for the brute force. Now the last thing in terms of the Baron's Watch are guard dogs. Now, I don't think these are going to be enemies that we're going to be seeing a lot through the game. In fact, we've only seen them once, and it was during a cutscene. So, they probably still will be in the game, but we don't know yet how they work. Now, because they can smell, obviously, much better than humans, they are going to be a problem when trying to hide. They'll be able to sniff you out, and more importantly, when escaping, you're going to want to stick to the rooftops, because these guys are going to be fast, faster than guards, and if they're faster than you, then you're dead. Now all the Baron's Watch have gone, we can now move on to other, more interesting things. Now, we are possibly going to be seeing civilians in the game, of course in cutscenes, but we don't know for sure if we're actually going to see them mid-combat. Now, when we see these civilians, there's a couple of different things that they could do. Dependent on how you play the game, and if you are going to be stealing from civilians themselves, if they catch you, then they are probably going to scream for help, causing guards to come to their aid. But if you play the game being, I guess, nicer to these characters, maybe they'll help you out. As we've seen this in games such as Assassin's Creed, they could stop the guards from entering, they could pretend they don't know you're there, or they could even help you by giving you money, weapons, and arrows. Now, slightly branching off from the civilian area, we have the gangman. We saw in this shot here two generic-looking people just running towards him. They don't seem to have any good tactics, as they're not wrapping around him to take him down, they're simply just running towards him. This suggests that they just use brute force, and they could perhaps just be the gangmen, as of course you do have a bounty on your head. So, expect to have people like this throughout the game, attempting to take you down to gain that bounty. Now another thing I managed to spot was the possibility of other thieves or assassins. We've seen this tiny segment here, a short free-running segment. What seems to be in front of Garrett is some kind of cloaked person. And considering they're across the rooftops too, this could suggest that that's another assassin or another thief. as guards probably won't be chasing you across rooftops, because they simply can't do that. Now the last thing, which is definitely the most interesting and kind of peculiarly freaky thing, just watch this short segment here. I hope I didn't jump scare you, but these things look pretty freaky. Now, I'm not entirely sure what they are, but let's have a think of all the different things that they could be. Now, the immediate thing that people go is zombies. Well, that's clearly not the case right now, as zombies aren't fast moving, and they definitely can't climb on walls. These things look more like experimental things, prison cells on the sides, suggesting that these things have, I don't know, in an asylum, or in some kind of lab where they've been tested on and broken out. That's what I seem to think. And that they're roaming the city, and I reckon around the halfway point of the game, these things are going to be throughout the city, and it's going to be your job to try and stop these things from killing people. So, that's it for all of the enemies that I've spotted from all the trailers and things that they have released. This game is going to be coming out in the next couple of weeks. This game is going to be, I think, a really good contender for a PS4 game, because there isn't actually a lot out for it right now. But I'm going to be picking it up, and hopefully I will be able to be recording by then. So expect some cool tips and shit like that. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Expect some other fleshing out the game videos, including weapons and the character Garrett himself. And I'll see you all in the next video.
Hey! 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 Stop it! Stop it!